The musician of the year is Rory Hoffman.
I was getting ready to do a tour, and our regular keyboard player could not make it. Our friend David plays in a band with Rory. He said, I think I've got the perfect guy for you. We're out on the road in the middle of the tour, and I get an email from my old keyboard player. He said, I hear you have Rory Hoffman. Man, that guy is crazy. He's really, really good. So, I mean, Rory's reputation, is spreading quickly.
Everybody that sees him sees that, wow, this is going to happen for him. It's undeniable when you hear him, what he does it. And he plays at a master level on the guitar, and the clarinet, and the saxophone. He's just so good. He's so much better than everybody else. It's not even intimidating.
Well, I've stood on stage with everybody from Bill Monroe to Doc and Merle Watson to David Grisman to Tony Rice. I mean, these are people that are iconic music legends. And I've sat on stage many a night with Rory and it was all I could do not to stop playing when he's playing the guitar or the piano.
My sister and I like to tell people that we taught him everything he knows, but that's not really true anymore. He always corrects us and says that we taught him everything we knew, which is more accurate. My sister and I were pretty much his main teachers, and it was just neat to see him just light up at new concepts and pick things up so fast and all that. And then it was just really a turning point then where I knew that he was just going to do things I had never even thought of. Of course, now he's just on all those other instruments and stuff too, but yeah, it's really neat.
So here I was, not quite 20 yet, and I had 2 little babies. We didn't find out about their sight. We had friends around that they thought there was maybe something wrong. And I said, no, there's nothing wrong. I said they were just twins, and they were only 4 pounds or 4'7", 4'12" when they were born. But then when I took them in for their 6 weeks checkup, that's when we were told that, they were blind. They went to the School for the Blind in Aberdeen, South Dakota. And I think that was about the hardest, thing I went through. Letting my 2 little babies go at 7 years old. We decided to have another baby, and then that's when Rory came along. With Kim and Connie wanting to be teachers their whole life, as soon as Rory was, I think, able to sit up, the twins start reading to him and teaching him his Braille already, the alphabet, like the Braille A and B and stuff like that.
They had regular school set up in the old house. Different classrooms. They would change their voices, and they'd be like 4 different teachers, and everyone had a different personality, so they were doing like acting too, other than just teaching.
Well, they started that with Reed too. As soon as both the boys were able to sit out, they had them over there in school. And they were so tough on them little guys. Oh
boy.
If they acted up, or if they didn't get something right, or if they didn't listen, they'd kind of go pull their hair and, So it was kind of a joke that Rory and Reed thought when they started public school then in Lemon. It was a breeze. All their teachers were really nice. None of them pulled their hair. They thought public school was great.
He started drumming on ice cream buckets and spoons and pie plates were his first little homemade drum set. He was drumming on his first record by the time he was 5. So, and that just pretty much, of course, really branched out from there until he can play dozens of instruments now.
But most of the kids, they can hear a song one time and they have a memory like you wouldn't believe, and then just sit down and start playing it.
And that's why Rory can work so good in the studio. All the different musicians and songs nobody's ever heard before. Songs that people have written, and go into a studio and he'll just play it. He really doesn't explain it. It's just that I know how to do this. And I understand the psychology of guitar. You know, he just knows.
You audition for us tonight, and we want maybe Nashville, Tennessee can hear you live here tonight, and you may get discovered, okay? Why don't we take it away, guys? Roy Hoffman from Lemon, South Dakota.
I've been blessed from my toes up to my head. God's alive, so I won't act half dead. I don't care what people think about me. No!
I started a lot of instruments all about the same time. I have an old 8-track tape of me playing a melody on the piano when I was 3. By the time I was 5, I was drumming in the family band, and it started happening at the same time.
Can we start it from the top and I'll show you where my fixes are?
I was always one who wanted to know, how does this work and how are they making music out of this instrument? I was just fascinated by how all the different instruments work. I mean, I would do the same thing with my sisters when they were playing piano. I would go up and stand by them on the piano and start pushing down on keys and figuring out how it worked. You know, I didn't really just like pound on the keys, and just try to make awful noises.
When people first see him playing, they think, oh, why is he playing his guitar upside down? And they might realize, it looks like this guy might be blind or something like that. But no, I think that if you just close your eyes and listen to him on tape or whatever, he's a very high-level player, and it comes through in what he plays.
I don't want to give them a reason to not hire me. There are so many people in town who are looking to become a musician that the last thing I need to do is, oh, by the way, here's a potential reason you might not want to hire me. Here's something that you might end up being a little uncomfortable with or whatever. So I just show up, and that's most of the time when they find out that I'm blind. It's just one of the other aspects that separates me apart that people can find interesting. I want to be respected for the skills I have, the work I do, and I happen to be a blind guy. I just learned, from the time I was really young, I'm gonna have challenges, and this is kind of what it's gonna look like sometimes. And I can either, get depressed and mope about it, or I can work around it and, learn to find ways of dealing with people's just lack of knowledge or lack of forethought sometimes. I'm glad I didn't go to like blind school. I'm glad I just got to experience what life was going to be like in a regular world right from the beginning.
Playing the Grand Ole Opry is one of those experiences that you don't forget. It's like playing Carnegie Hall or something. It's one of the highest achievements you can get as a country musician. And just the history of the Opry, it's been going since like 1925. And so to be a piece of that legacy, I performed on the Opry with John Cowan. And then John asks me if I would like to do a feature on the Opry. And so he gave me one of his, 3 or 4 songs as a feature for me. So not only did I get to play the Opry, but I got to have a feature on the Opry, take center stage and be the person. And that was really great. And so I played piano and harmonica for John, and then when I did my own song, I came out and played guitar, and just an instrumental version of Avalon that I worked up, a rendition of the old standard called Avalon, and got a standing ovation when I was done. And standing ovations at the Opry, I mean, just to play the Opry is great, to have a feature on the Opry is greater still. To get a standing ovation after you've done your feature at the Opry for the very first time is just like, it doesn't get better.
On April 25th of '78, we found out right away then, the doctors, checked his eyes, and we found out right away then he was blind. We really got some static from some people that, how can you, when they found out I was pregnant, how on earth can you bring another blind child into this world? I mean, they really, I had, different ones approach me, how can you bring another blind? And I said, well, when I was pregnant, we didn't know if this one's going to be able to see or not. And so we would never make a point and tell them like the kids were blind, and people couldn't believe that them 4 kids was putting out all that music.
And, people would ask us, how difficult it is to raise these blind kids. And we said, to us it's no difficult because we never had sighted kids. So it was just, we was just doing what came naturally.
We just learned every day with him.
At me, and you probably can figure you're going to hear some traditional country. Because I go back a ways and I can't see everybody because of the lights.
Well, we can't either, so it's all right.
There are a few people here over 50, so you'll probably enjoy this tune.
This is what I was created to do. I was meant to be a musician, and I was meant to be as good a musician as I possibly can be. And Nashville is a tremendous environment for fostering that, because you always have to be on your game here, because if you aren't, there are plenty of other people who can do a fantastic job. So when your opportunity presents itself, you better be ready to step up and make it happen. I feel, blessed and fortunate that that I've been able to do it. I get to work with incredibly good musicians. So it's like the things that you imagine happening when you're, just living in South Dakota. Will I ever get a chance to be on that level, or meet these people, or be considered, kind of in the same caliber as they are, or just be friends with them or play with them, and now I'm starting to get to do that, and I love it.
Thank you so much, especially Depot Music Productions, Kim and Jackie and Ulmer, Eric Ulmer, Jeff Pyatt, all the people who work so hard to promote my music. All the people in Lemon, South Dakota, my hometown, who have gathered at the church for the past 3 years waiting for this moment, thank you so much. And finally to the members of the CCMA who voted for me, thank you so much. And those of you who didn't vote for me, thank you so much too, because you've just made me work all that much harder to win you over next year. But I really do appreciate it. It's humbling, and I'm proud, and I'm honored, and I'm humbled all at once. Thank you so much.